So today's topic is going to be whether you think golf is a sport or not. Raise a show of hands right now. How many of you play the game of golf? It's a lot. Okay. All right, put your hands down. Put your hands down. How many of your parents play the game of golf? Whether it's your dad or your mom, doesn't matter.
My dad's going out golfing right now.
There you go. A lot of people love it. Okay, so you can put your hands down. Most of you are either a player yourself or you are very exposed to people who like golf, who enjoy it on a regular basis. I know that Koreans love golf. Koreans love golf. And it's super expensive in Korea to play. If you're in the States, like when I was in Texas for university, they would have student discounts during the daytime when it's really hot where nobody goes. And I can have a full 18 hole round for like 15 bucks using a student discount. So I have a student ID. I show up like at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock where it's really hot. It's like, yeah, 15 bucks, 18 rounds, 18 holes. It was really cheap. Yeah, it was really cheap.
Not even $1?
No, well, yeah, not even $1 per hole. That was a rate. But in Korea, it does have some prestige. It does have some status added onto it, and I think that's why people like it even more. But in any case, it's a serious sport that, or at least a serious activity that millions and millions of players play. And you have serious professional leagues, you have tournaments with big prizes, and with big sponsorships. You know, once you become at that level, Nike, Rolex or whatever, the big brands are gonna say, hey, we need we want you to endorse us, wear our stuff, we'll pay you a big chunk of cash every time you show up on on an international stage wearing our gear, wearing our merchandise.
That's easy.
And it happens all the time. So golf is no doubt a serious sport to the people who are playing it. But the people who don't play it or don't know it enough or maybe doesn't really view it as a sport, even if they do play it, they're gonna have an argument against the people who do think it is a sport. What do you think that main argument is going to be?
It's not.
Why is it not a sport?
What if you play
Not active enough.
Okay, not active enough. Not active enough. Now, the point that I wanted to make for today's class in particular is by me introducing a Harvard professor named Michael Sandel. He's very famous for the book that he wrote called Justice. And yeah, it was translated into Korean. Did a whole TV series in Korean as well. They did, had subtitles, and he's widely accepted, or at least he's widely recognized in terms of talking about ethics and talking about what philosophy and how we should treat each other. In this particular clip, he talks about a U.S. Supreme Court case against a guy named Casey Martin, and he was going against LPG Tour. LPG, is it? Oh, I'm sorry, not LPG, it's PGA, not LPG, I'm sorry, it's a typo, I'll fix that. PGA. PGA stands for Professional Golf Association. LPGA would be ladies, but the PGA Tour, Inc., they said to Casey Martin, excuse me, you cannot you cannot drive a golf cart at a professional PGA Tour level competition.
Yeah, that would
Because
just
if you're
be
like an amateur,
unprofessional.
if you're qualifying and you're just going up the amateur level, yeah, you can use carts, and the rules don't prohibit you from using carts, and you should be able to use it if you feel like it, even if you're like playing for a qualifying event. But on a PGA Pro level, the top, the PGA Tour, they're gonna say no. They said no to Casey Martin. Now Casey Martin,
They have to walk.
the thing is, he can't walk. He has a disability where if he walks, then he's actually breaking his legs.
Wait,
What?
Yeah, he has a critical condition where if he walks too much, then his joints will dissemble and it will deteriorate. So it's not good for him. He can't walk, but he's a great golfer in that he can stand still, and swing a club and hit the small ball to nearest the hole, because that's the name of the game. That's how you play golf. You have par 3, par 4, par 5 for a given hole, and you need to make sure from the tee off to the hole, you have to make it in the least amount of shots, the least amount of strokes. So if you are a good golfer that can stand still, swing the club, and hit the ball to land where you want it to land, then you should be good enough to play. But PGA Tour was like, no, walking is an essential element. You can't not have the walking element. There's endurance, there's stamina, there's whatever involved. So no, you can't have a golf cart. It wouldn't be fair to the other golfers. Okay? So right now, there's really two main issues that are being discussed. One, walking is indeed a fundamental aspect of the sport. If you don't walk in the game of golf, then you're not actually performing it to the fullest extent. And some people are saying, no, walking isn't an essential part of the game. All you have to do is hit the ball from one place to another and make sure the ball goes into the hole in this small.
Simple.
Well, I know, but if you had to explain the game to a 5-year-old, how do you play the game of golf? All right, you have a stick, you have a ball, and from one point to another, they tell you how many strokes, how many hits you need to do in order for you to be par, fair. If you go over it, then no good, or it's not as good. If you go under that number, then you're really good. And all the professionals will always try to go under that number. So if you see yourself going under that number, then you're playing at a professional level. If you're always going over that level, then you need to practice harder. Does that make sense? In any case, if you view that walking is essential to the game of golf, then you're gonna say, yeah, Casey Martin can't get a cart, it's not fair. Now, if you want to get rid of the fairness issue, it's not fair, we can't just give Casey Martin, then what you can do is PGA lets everybody use carts if you want to. So you leave that as an option. You can use it or not use it, whatever you want, doesn't matter. It won't affect how we view your status or as a professional golfer. If you want to play golf and going through the 18 holes, if you feel that having a cart is better, then we'll let you do that. The people who want to walk, you can walk. Because technically the caddies are carrying the golf bags. It's not like the golfer isn't carrying the bag itself.
The bag is super heavy.
Yeah, I know. So what I'm saying is like when we're talking about walking, even at a professional level, it's not like the professional golfers, they carry around the heavy bags. No. They have caddies and they have strollers and they use equipment to make sure it's easy on them. Not to say that, you know, like that walking of a distance isn't physically strenuous or isn't physically demanding, but what you can't argue about Casey Martin is that because he has a disability and because walking actually hurts him, we should give him the cart option. So PGA, they could have just said, all right, since it wouldn't be fair if we only gave Casey Martin the option to use it, we should just let everybody else use it, or at least give them that option, so in the event that you don't use it, it wouldn't matter because we gave you the option in the first place. But PGA didn't want to do that. This is an important part. So PGA could have gotten rid of that whole fairness issue if they just said, all right, fine, Casey Martin can use it and anybody else can if you want to. But they didn't want to do that. They didn't. They tried very hard not to give that right, even against a disabled person like Casey Martin. Why? That's the question I want to ask you, or at least you want to think about today. Why do you think the PGA Tour, as an entity, they were reluctant, they were not happy with the fact, or at least anybody suggesting, can we let everybody use carts? Can we just, like, even for the professional top tour level games, can't we just let everybody use it? Wouldn't that just be fair for everybody? PGA still says no. Even with the disability guy saying, come on, like, I've qualified every other tournament, and they let me use the carts then, why not now? Up until me, because you can't just go to the PGA Tour and say, hey, here's my ticket, let me in. No, that's not how it goes. You have to qualify through various stages. There's 3 stages to get there, and you have to qualify every time. And there's a big fee to it too, and it's a big deal. So Casey Martin had to go through all of that. He registered, he paid for the entrance fee, he qualified all the previous stages, and then now he's up to that level and saying, I want to play, but I can't walk because of my disability, so let me use a cart. PGA's like, no. No, why? Why won't they let him use it? What's at stake?